Happy summer, Wolves family. This is the June post-board meeting update. I want to take a few minutes to highlight the things that we discussed last night. First of all, I want to wish everybody a wonderful summer. We appreciate all those students that came to our summer school program. Hopefully you had a great experience, and we know that many of you are going to continue to work throughout the summer on some of those academic skills and also those athletic skills. So we just want to encourage you to stay motivated, stay engaged. Let's see, August 19th is the first day of school. That will be here before we know it. It's crazy to think about how fast summer goes by. I would encourage you to take time to spend with family, to just enjoy time with loved ones. There's nothing more important than that, and we look forward to seeing you back in August. We had a wonderful board meeting last night, and just a few things that I would like to highlight from the board meeting. Last night I shared with the board that obviously this has been one of the rainiest seasons that we've had in years. And as we created this new Wolfpack Park cross-country trail over there in Wolfpack Park, we've quickly realized some of those challenges that have been created because of the water. So I want to just let you know, as far as patrons go and athletes and others that are using the cross-country trail, that we are working hard. We are actually bringing in some additional support to see what kind of additional culverts or ditches need to be brought in to ensure that that trail system is pristine and in great condition for all users. Right now, there are parts of that trail that are pretty treacherous due to all the runoff and washouts. So we are working on that. We will get through that. So we appreciate your patience on that. See, about a week and a half, 2 weeks, we'll be starting our playground project. You'll see that happening. So by the time school gets back, we hope that that playground is rocking and rolling. So many wonderful things on the park, but wanted you to get an update on the trail system. Talked about food service last night. I appreciate Jeff Westerholt and his entire team for our food service work. They are willing and continuing to try to strive for excellence. And so part of that will be to continue to look for opportunities for feedback and input on food services and food that's being served to students. They are meeting all the state and national guidelines and trying to ensure that we have enough food, enough quantity available for kids, and the quality of food meets good health standards, and also is something that kids enjoy. So we appreciate Mr. Westerholt and all that he does in that area. We talked about Senate Bill 3. If you're unfamiliar with Senate Bill 3, please look it up online. You can find a little bit of more information on that. It's an unfortunate piece of legislation that happened last minute that essentially it was an effort by the legislators to try to save the Kansas City Chiefs and Royal Stadiums here in Missouri, and they stuck in a property tax bill that was pretty damaging to all the entities in our county that rely on and depend on property tax. Essentially, it freezes all the residential property tax. It's not, what we've been told is that the actual legislation is not aligned to state statute and is not legal. And so it'll be fought out in courts, and or new legislation will come next year to fix it. And so we're not overly concerned about it. So I'm not going to go into great depths about it, but we talked about Senate Bill 3 last night. There's a lot of information online if you're interested in that topic to learn about that. One of the things we did talk about quite a bit, and I'll let this be the first announcement to our patrons, specifically our students, that there is a new state law specific to cell phone use during the school day. The new law, this isn't just district administrators or teachers or school board. This is a state law that restricts the use of student electronic devices during the school day. School day is defined as from the beginning bell to the end of the bell, including all passing times and lunch times. No students will be allowed to use cell phones during those times unless it is specific to an IEP, a 504, another health-related item. Students are not allowed to have cell phones out in the hallways. They're not allowed to have cell phones out during the lunch times, during passing times. In the classroom, a teacher can make a decision to use cell phones for specific instructional programming, but not for students to use just while they're casually working on work. This includes earbuds, meta glasses, anything that can be connected in to online cannot be used during the school day. K through 8, we feel like this isn't really a big change because this is pretty much how we've operated. High school and high schoolers, this is a big change for you. The policy states and the law states that students who fail to comply with the cell phone policy will be disciplined according to school policy. And so that discipline is similar to all other discipline things that come on, for everything from a verbal warning all the way to a full suspension from school. And so I think just as a state, we're seeing the negative impacts that cell phone use has had on kids' brains, and the disengagement it's creating in school environments, and the challenges it's creating for teachers to be able to keep kids involved in learning. And so we're optimistic about how this will impact students. We've heard from some school districts that have done some policies like this, that the first little bump is a little challenging, but once we get through that hurdle, students begin to engage more with each other, begin to talk more with each other, and learning increases. So you'll hear more about that. There'll be information, parents, as you register and enroll in our student handbooks that has this new language in it. So that language has been adopted by the board. So again, you cannot have devices at school at any time. You can use them on the bus, you can use them out on the field during practices and those types of things, but not during instructional time. Big change. We provided, Trent Oxenreider and Jason Reich provided an update on our youth sports programming. Our numbers, participation numbers, have never been higher in the history of our youth sports program. Significant growth has happened. A lot of that was under Coach Reich's leadership, and now Coach Oxenreider is really working hard to expand and develop those programs. We have complete confidence in the work that he's doing. He had a great spring in his first couple of months in that role. So we're excited about where we've headed. Obviously, with the addition of youth wrestling, huge program, huge numbers, great engagement. We've seen some of the highest numbers in football and other youth sports. Those have been significant for our district. We see the potential of adding additional pieces down the road. While I can't make an announcement of what those would be, we will have that is specifically part of our strategic plan to investigate student needs, student interest, and determine what else we can grow in. But there hasn't been a time where our youth sports program has been more cohesive with quality training, good instructional practices, feedback for coaches, making sure coaches are passing the right background checks and are able to work with kids. All those things are really aligned and going really well. So we appreciate that update. Last night, I'll share this with you. We shared with the board our facilities master plan. We engaged Dake Wells Architecture, who've been working with us through the course of the whole past year, a team of representatives across the district, including a couple board members, to develop a long-term plan of facility needs that are on the horizon. This document is a draft document. It's very much in the sand, meaning it's flexible, it's adjustable, but we identified some of those critical needs that will come down the road. As you all know, buildings, as soon as you build a building, they begin to lose value. They begin to fall apart. They want to fall into the ground. That's just what the nature of building something is. So you have to maintain and upkeep. And so I can say confidently that we've identified key critical projects that need to happen in the next 10 to 15 years for this district to continue to serve kids well. We've identified the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing issues across the district that need to be addressed in kind of a timely fashion. And we've developed a budget cadence around that. Some of these items we'll be diving into in terms of facility expansion. For example, I'll just give you one of the facilities that's in most desperate need, and that is our intermediate school. Our intermediate school, if you've been in that building, it's a very old building, and there's foundation issues. You can actually in some of the rooms see outside. It's just really kind of fallen apart, and so it needs to be kept. It needs to be brought up to standard. So that is an item that needs to be addressed. So we envision a remodel of that building coming in the very near future. HVAC units, for example, at the high school and at the elementary school were all put in. Elementary school, I think, are on average 25 years old. The high school, they're on average 30 years old. Most of our units in this building, I think there are 80 units, if I recall correctly. And so we have a strong plan. Dr. Dublin, our Assistant Superintendent of Operations, has been a phenomenal leader to really outline these plans and get us on a good cadence of how we can move forward. So we have a plan moving forward, a replacement cycle plan. So I'm proud of his work. And so we're going to start getting those things kind of lined up and shored up and a plan for that. There are projects that are on that facility plans that are big idea things, like an indoor facility for all extracurricular and co-curricular activities, like band, cheerleading, drama, sports, an indoor facility that can be used for a multi-purpose. There, you're seeing those pop up around the state. That is probably something that's really kind of aspirational down the road, because we have so many other bigger needs in terms of day-to-day instructional uses. So you might hear some things about that. The baseball and softball field, we know those are critical projects that need to be addressed. Water retainage and all those issues that happen that causes challenges for those fields, and including our youth sports programs continue to expand and grow. And so having those spaces turfed and done well will be a critical step for us here in the next year or two. One of the pieces that you may hear about is that the potential of our central office moving and building a small facility for central office. And I want to be kind of get the forefront of this, because it could kind of trickle out and then rumor spread. I will tell you that while that is certainly not a passion project of mine, I actually like our space where we're at and like what we have going on. We have a strategy in the strategic plan that's about developing an alternative school environment that can meet the needs of more learners, that could meet the needs of 7 through 12 grade students. And so if we decide through that strategy that expansion needs to happen, we feel like our current location here at the high school is the place that makes most sense for students to be engaged here, which may force us to get out and have to build a small little facility for central office and our board meetings. Again, that driver would be based off of what's needs for students. Again, some things are kind of like, some projects like our career center are pretty exciting projects that we were passionate about. Playgrounds are something I'm really passionate about, the park. But sometimes you have to put wheels on a car, even though you don't like it. For me, building a new central office is like buying tires. It's not something I want to do, but if it means that we need to do that to expand an early childhood or an alternative school environment, then that will drive that strategy and drive that decision making. But none of this is set in concrete. These are all plans that the board will work through along with our team as we develop and work through action steps in the strategic plan that will drive some of these decisions. The beauty thing that we can report to our patrons is that we have a strong plan and an understanding of where our budget is and the timeline and dollar amounts to be able to keep your facilities really up to par. Because the reality is a lot that we've created in this plan I won't be around for. It's beyond maybe the scope of my time here as I get to that retirement point. But it's going to be something that we need to keep our eyes on for the future generations. So, and to be good stewards. So I'm really excited about the work that's been done, the progress that's been made in that area. Excited to report that we have representatives from Care to Learn. Care to Learn is an organization that's been around, I think they said 17 years. It serves 45 plus school districts. It's an organization that was initiated by the brother of Brad Pitt, Doug Pitt, and it's really about food, health, food, hunger, and hygiene. Hunger and hygiene. Oh, what was the other one? I'm losing my mind. Hunger. I'll get it right here. I want to get it right. Okay. Well, I can't remember. Hunger. Let me see. Health, hunger, and hygiene. Okay, yeah. Just appreciate your patience on that. Health, hunger, and hygiene. So we have our Silver Dollar City money, and the money that comes from the foundation is a phenomenal support to families. We have some pockets of things that go on outside of that because our community does a lot. Some of that isn't organized, and so Care to Learn is an organization you'll hear a lot about this coming year, an opportunity to donate and support that will organize all this and really bring money to help those that are in most need and to address some of those hunger, health, and hygiene issues. So we're really excited that the board approved that last night. We'll get that going, and you will hear a significant amount related to that program and how we're going to use that to get more organized and get better at what we're doing in terms of meeting the needs of students. We updated the board on our spring sports programs. We appreciate all the effort and energy put in by our athletes. And we know that's an extra challenge to be an athlete and to be a student. We appreciate that, and all of our coaches, certainly all the work that you've done. Cell phone tower, you saw that on. Just the only update I really have is that we're moving forward still with the project. We fully anticipate in building that cell phone tower. We have locked into that contract. It will happen. It is coming. And we're excited about the possibilities of having that to expand connectivity for our community. So it's just still, we're still looking at probably another year and a half project. The board approved our employee manuals and our handbooks, so that was done. We presented our budget, our proposed budget for the school year. I will report. I guess the long story short, in regards to our annual budget that I would like to share with you, is that we have created another, once again, we have ended the budget in a surplus. We are not deficit spending, which is great. We are being good stewards of those dollars and making sure we're looking at long range projections in regards to that. This year, based off of kind of where we're at, once the board has also authorized us to move some money from our operating fund into Fund 4, which is our capital improvement project. Once we've done that, we'll probably end around 43% reserve fund balances. Again, still teetering at the highest that I've seen since we've been here in the district, along with still trying to be aggressive with those salaries. So we're in a really healthy position with our fund balances. We proposed a new budget for next year based off of anticipated revenues and pretty strong expenditure projections that Liz Smith, our executive director, our director of business and finance, has worked on in collaboration with our directors, been able to put that together. So we've created another budget that is a balanced budget as well, that will add some surplus. And so we're not in a bad position. We're actually pretty good financially, but we also know we need to be thoughtful because our tax base is so dependent on local revenues, and because at times legislators and senators like to do crazy things. We don't know what the future could hold. So we always have to be thoughtful about those dollars and what budget could look like. But we're in a pretty good spot in regards to our current budget right now. Our audit has taken place. We've already had our preliminary. We'll have our finish our audit in the next couple of weeks. We'll get the report sometime in early fall. Every indication at this point is that we use really strong, great practices in terms of all of our auditing or our business and office finance processes. The board did approve our bid to accept our new phone system bid, and so the board approved our recommendation to partner with CPI Crexendo phone system, our VoIP provider. This is a big step for the district because we'll update all of our phones, and this is all going to be cloud-based, so that if we have those breakdowns, we should have fewer drops. As you know, patrons, sometimes we have these issues. We've had a lot of issues with our phone company. We're hopeful that this will resolve many of those issues and we can stay online even if our power or our service here is impacted. We'll be able to still have data and be able to continue to keep calls going. The final thing that we discussed, and an important item, is that we've determined that we are going to sell the old Gibson Tech building. We will be kind of working through that process and putting it out there and pushing it out there for patrons to begin to, potential interested party to begin to look at. The building's about 45,000 square feet. We are, let's see here. We are going to start that building. Will be posted at $1,125,000. That valuation is essentially giving it a $25 per square foot valuation. We've had consultants that have been engaged with us in those conversations. We've had some agents out there to look at it and feel like that's a good fair market value. And so that's kind of the number we're putting out there. But we'll have a lot more information to come. If you know anyone who might be interested in that facility, they can contact me and we can schedule a conversation and schedule a walkthrough. But we are moving forward with that. So it was a lot. This board meeting was a wonderful meeting. It was a long meeting, but we tackled many wonderful things. Appreciate our 7 board members, phenomenal group, a lot of cohesion, and no personal agendas, just wanting to do what's best for kids. Again, I want to wish everybody a wonderful summer. Enjoy your time away and get ready, because I'll tell you, just next year it's going to be phenomenal. It's going to be a deeper level of learning and commitment to each one of our kids. Appreciate everyone. Take care.